Hello, everybody, and I hope you're having a great day. Consider hitting that subscription bell, huh? Please, please. More PC2 action, please. But anyways, today I'll be talking about the PC2 situation. It is pretty sad and disappointing. So yesterday, Pillar Chase 2 had released an update, re-adding some of the old characters back into pre-code, and it actually was pretty successful. You know, their player count being from like 400 to 4,000. It also came with this message right here. And it says, Pillar Chase 2 recode information in the fate of precode. Here is the release roster for recode. AO1, Ao-Oni, Fogborn, Valum, Rosemary, and Vapor. As you can tell, majority of the monsters will not be on release. And majority of the fan favorites are not there either. It's only the OC ones besides Ao-Oni. But they have collabed with Ao-Oni, so there's no risk in adding Ao-Oni into recode, or recode, my bad. And here is a complete, by the way, remember that word, complete list of all characters that will eventually be added to recode. This is monsters that have already begun development in some way. It is not in release order. Samsonite, Whist, Niloticus, Fuwadi, Ardler, Jeff, Hal Percy, I don't know who that is, Suitmations, and PCX. Now, are you noticing something here? That's right. Half of the monsters that are in the game aren't on the complete list for the characters that will eventually be added into recode. Meaning, they might not be coming to recode, or they might be undergoing some huge changes. I don't know, we will have to find out more within the coming time. And this was also posted along with it, and it answers some of our questions we may have regarding Pillar Chase. Number one, why isn't blank being added into recode? Like, why isn't MX being added into recode, or EXE, or Springtrap? When we first created Pillar Chase, we had no idea the size it would become, nor did we handle the characters with delicacy they deserve. We made many bad decisions on how the characters were implemented. Redesigning characters in the way that we did was disrespectful and a disservice to the original creators. So, like, take example, Tinky Winky, or the Slendy Tubbies, whatever the hell he is. They turned him in from a purple Teletubby into a blue Teletubby with elf ears and some sort of taser gizmo on his head with a TV face. So, they took the creepypasta Slendy Tubby character and they deformed it so that they could make their profit. Or they wouldn't be able to get DMCA striked from, like, I don't know, the creators of Teletubby and shit like that. But they didn't want to do that because it would be a disservice to the original creators. We don't want to constantly worry about the new game being taken down or DMCA striked, and having the hard work of so many deleted monsters added to Pillar Chase must not infringe on anyone's rights. We must directly work with the character creator to make sure that the character is represented fairly. But you got permission for the monsters. Many of these characters draw upon source material that the character creators do not own. Even if a character is visually pretty unique, directly using / referencing an IP you don't own isn't safe. So, like, take an example, EXE. He looks like Sonic the Hedgehog. Sega doesn't own EXE, but they do own Sonic. And the owner of EXE, Raven, I think, they don't own Sonic, so they can't really do much with it. It's not theirs. If you don't monetize the game, it would be safe. This take has been spread around quite a bit, and it's simply not true. There's no debating that fan games are generally allowed to exist depending on the source material they draw from, as long as they don't profit That part is true. However, PC2 drew from several sources that we cannot get a reasonable permission from. On top of this, Roblox makes games profit by default. Yeah. Like, I've had a little shitty game and, you know, I made like 15 Robux off of it just because people played it. What about the old characters? I don't want to lose my progress. Pre-code will be closing April 14th and will silently reopen 2 weeks after the new release of the game. We'll be removing it as far... Huh? We will be removing it as far away from us as possible. So there's going to be 2 games open. I don't really get that. They're trying to make hype for Recode and all that, but they're going to keep Pre-code. I thought Pre-code was just going to like be scrapped and gone and it'd only be Recode left. Why would you keep Pre-code up? Who is going to play Recode at that point then? You're going to keep like the monsters in Pre-code, but what? I really don't get that. Why is the recolor feature a Game Pass? I really don't need to read this one. It just talks about our skins in Recode are gonna have a much higher quality, meaning you gotta pay for it. Ha 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 ha. That one's not really important. Why is the Game Pass so much? Yeah, whatever. It just talks about Roblox and some developer stuff. I don't know. Not really important to the situation. What about Suitmations? He draws upon another source material. This has been discussed, and we are currently working with the creator to represent the character in a way that won't put the game at risk. So, Suitmations isn't going to be Suitmations. Or at least the one we know and love. Because Suitmations is exactly Godzilla 1954, the original OG Godzilla. He is exactly what that is. And they're going to have to change him quite a bit to avoid that risk, making him probably look like troglodyte or something. Why didn't you communicate anything about Stonehusk? The situation that went down with Stonehusk is not something we wanted to make public, as we generally do not make private developer situations public anymore. The contributor associated with Stonehusk has been removed and left any other games at that point. We're actively still working up a solution for Stonehusk. Why don't you tell the community about developer removals anymore? This isn't really a need to. It's just saying, oh, we don't want to put them on the spotlight. That's it. Pre-code is getting an update today, and we'll get one final content addition on its silent reopening. After this, it'll be not developed further. You know, that's funny because it's still going to end up having more players for Recode. Just to make these decisions, or just to make it clear, these decisions were made after speaking to an attorney and being informed on copyright law. These decisions are not made randomly, and we want to do our best to respect the original creators of these characters. And this doesn't really make sense without the right context, but whenever I was initially covering this, you know, MX was not on the list and everyone thought MX was dead. You know, MX is the poster child, but it appears from Mr. Raz Dazzle Dudes himself, aka the owner of MX, that MX is still in Pillar Chase. I've been actively working with the dev team these past few months about him and his inclusion. Sorry, holy shit, bro. It's not going anywhere, I promised. But the thing is, in order to make like MX, like let's take this. Just look at MX, right? That's Super Mario right there. They're gonna have to either like change his color and clothes, like maybe remove the mustache, the overall. You're gonna have to change MX quite a bit for him to not look like Super Mario, because that's what he is. He is Super Mario. And I feel like the community isn't going to be a fan of whatever creations that may come out of, you know, the redesigns and all that stuff. But MX is still in the game. MX is still in the game and it's not going anywhere. And then we got this huge thing that I've seen today. Now, this came out after I ended my stream, and there's a lot to dive into here. And a very important follow-up, please read. Addressing a few things, as there is a ton of misinformation floating around, as well as understandable confusion. When Pillar Chase 2 was first conceptualized, I hope I said that right, and then released, we as the owners were poorly informed on copyright law. We are not professionals, we are not a corporation. We are a Roblox indie developers. We are going to make mistakes, and we have never been shy about admitting our mistakes. We created Pillar Chase 2 knowing barely anything about how copyright law or parody law worked. We just wanted to make a fun game with our favorite characters. PC2 grew, and we were working to keep up with the fan desires while also developing what made us happy. Over time, we became more and more aware of legal danger that developing Pillar Chase 2 posed, but we still weren't fully educated on what that actually meant for us. This led to many confusing decisions, not just for the fan base, but us as developers on what characters were safe to implement in the game. Due to our naivety, and an inexperience, and the fact that we didn't realize how much attention PC2 would get, we did not intentionally reach out to many character creators in our eyes. You didn't ask for permission to make fan art of your favorite character. Why would we ask to develop a silly fan game? Do not do that. If you are making a fan project that's outside of the scale of fan art piece, please contact the creators and ask for their blessing before your project launches. There are so many Roblox games, especially in the ASIM genre, that are starting development without proper permission. Yeah, that's something I can agree with. I've been seeing a lot of that. Make sure you get your character permissions, guys. If you can't get permission, don't add it. Roblox sort of has understood vibe that any fan project is okay to make. After all, it's just Roblox. This mindset gets developers in trouble and erases months, potentially years of development. Yeah, like TD, the disaster, that's a good example. There's also been a misunderstanding that these decisions are being made to monetize the game and secure profit by removing characters that could cause problems with that profit. Fan games do not need to make profit to risk being taken down. Please stop spreading this. Character creators and copyright holders are at the full right to take down an infringing project for literally any reason, even if the project makes no money. We want Pillar Chase to be what it was originally, about it featuring internet horrors, but in a fashion that works with the creators and respects their vision for the character without infringing on anyone's right. In doing this, we have to remove certain characters or rework them with the creators to keep everyone involved safe. There is a understanding from the community that we have gone corporate, are greedy, and are lazy. Who is saying they're lazy? Maybe bro just threw that in there for fun. And we understand this perception, especially the anger around your favorite character not being developed further. The stumbles and odd decisions surrounding the game are because we are not some big corporation. We are developers trying to figure out how this game development stuff works and going about it the right way. We have been working with Roblox Communications for months trying to figure out the best way to preserve our game, as well as meeting with attorneys to figure out how copyright law works and what we are supposed to do. It was only this month that we actually got into contact with a proper attorney that was able to explain and guide us on what to do. It was also these same attorneys that explained how serious copyright law is and what could happen if we don't fix the game. Before this, we were actually ghosted by our previous attorney who took our money and then never followed through with the help we wanted or needed. Well, I thought that's fucked up. Okay. Being a game developer isn't easy, and there are so many loops you have to jump through and things to figure out, but it's worth it to create an awesome game people love. We understand that many of you are very upset that some of the pre-code characters won't be developed further, but we hope we can create a new version of the game that you guys grow to love, but that also respects and works with the character creators fairly. This means letting curators determine the movesets, skins, and overall representation of the character. Outcome memory situation. Don't let that happen. Okay, that was a lot. And now we got another lot to swallow. Hey, yo, pause. What about characters like PCX? PCX, we already know it's an OC. It is being heavily reworked to not infringe on any franchise and will only be added upon approval of our attorney. In hindsight, it shouldn't have been included in the list. Apologies. So what they're saying is PCX might not actually come, to be honest. I thought his OC was, pretty unique and very different from like Sonic the Hedgehog. I thought it would have been safe. But who knows? Maybe it's not. Why can't you do that for other characters? We are actually working with some character creators to portray their characters in the game in a way that doesn't infringe on any franchise, but also represent the original vision they have. Whether or not a creator chooses to do that is up to them. Not all creators are comfortable with this and should be respected. Yeah, like EXE's creator. EXE's no longer in the game. Sorry, sons. But he's not. He's never coming back. I'm sorry to tell you that. An example of this is MX. We've been working closely with Raz to portray their character in a way that won't get the game in trouble, but still follows the vision they want for the character. Doing this ensures everyone stays safe and nobody's work is getting risk of deleted. Or is at risk of deleted, sorry, my bad. Why don't you rework characters like Inkfell, Stonehusk, and Stricken? We are unhappy with the creations of these characters as they created solely to fill the niche of a character that had complicated copyright infringements. Or characters we couldn't get permission for. This is wrong, and these characters shouldn't have been created for this purpose. So, no more Inkfell, no more Stonehusk, and no more Stricken? Hey, GG's, I guess. Instead of just reworking these characters again to be another OC whose sole purpose is to fill a niche in a video game, we'd rather find and work with other horror creators to feature their original characters and promote their creations. Oh, dang. So so this is basically confirming that they're not coming to the game. Hopefully that answers the question. Yes, we want to implement characters with similar playstyles to characters like Inkfell, Stonehusk, Stricken, etc. But by using characters that are actually original and don't exist for the sole purpose of filling the niche of a character we can't have, over time we will reach out to other indie horror story creators and ask if they want to work their character, or if they would want their character featured in-game, and we will do our best to find characters that have play styles the fan base already likes. So a lot of the so PC2 is going to lose its identity. That's basically what's going on. Dang, that's sad, bro. Fuck. You guys are only seeking out collaborations to get money and attention. The understanding of what we mean by collaborations has been misunderstood, and that's our fault. When referring to collaborations, we mean working directly with a character creator. At the moment, I think the current understanding of a collaboration means we are working with some big company or promotion. For example, Artler is considered a collaboration between the game and Phoenix Finch, a developer for the game. We understand the confusion, however, and will be carefully wording how we describe this from now on. Also, a little Domingo note here. I can't wait for the I love that dude. He's like cool. He's like actually scary. Why is pre-code remaining open if it's such a threat? Here's what I was wondering. Pre-code won't be developed anymore. We won't be promoted and will be renamed. Oh really? What's it gonna be renamed to? Bart Chase 2? Just to make it a little makes it as little as a target as possible to get struck down. That's not really smart. V/Blade are still at risk by doing this, but this is the least we can do to keep these characters playable. We don't know how long pre-code will remain open as it is. Is it still at risk of getting a takedown notice, but it's smaller risk we're comfortable taking? Well, that's fucking stupid. Why even do that in the first place? So your game is still at risk, but you're okay with that risk because it's not it's not as big as a risk. That's a pretty fucking dumb idea, to be honest. Whoever thought of that? I think they should probably also close down pre-code. Why keep it up? That's what I said in the beginning of this video. Why even keep it up at this point? Like, hello? What about the screenshot of a staff member saying you guys are trying to become a corporation? Moderators do not speak on behalf of the development team or the owners and are speaking from their own opinion. However, while saying that, we understand that moderators are held to a higher degree, and as a staff member, their word is perceived to represent us. We'll be more careful about this in the future. Sorry it took a while for this announcement to address things. We are trying our best through all of this, and that's where that ends. That was a fucking humongous pill to swallow. And to be honest, if I give you guys my opinions on this, this is sealing the death of Pillar Chase 2, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like a huge reason people play Pillar Chase 2 is because their favorite internet horror characters in it. You know, with their favorite characters gone, they wouldn't want to play it because it's, I don't know, bro. They just wouldn't want to play it. It wouldn't have that same charm and vibe to it. You know, a lot of people who play PC2 now, they're not new players. They're old players. They've been playing for a while now. And, you know, and old Pillar Chase just had that such a unique charm to it, you know, with all those internet horror characters. It was just a fun time. And people want to relive that. But like, also, dude, I'm gonna Google search. Who the fuck is Pal Percy? This is Pal Percy. Are you kidding me? Bro, what is this? But yeah, that's been Mr. Domingo's take on the Pillar Chase 2 situation. It is a sad situation. And I think a lot of the characters will be gone, to be honest. We're gonna get like new characters. People are not gonna like it as much, and the game will die like that. And you know, even in the release of Bite by Night is very soon. Actually, I'll have a Bite by Night video very soon. Actually, very, very soon, like tomorrow type soon. But yeah, I think Pillar Chase 2 is fucked and it's gonna die, unfortunately. I don't want to say that because I love Pillar Chase 2. It made me what I am today, as stupid as that sounds. But those are just the facts. I think Pillar Chase 2 is dead from here on out. That's just my opinion, though. Maybe it could come back, pull some evil ass shit off. But for the foreseeable future, that's how it looks, and that's what my opinion is going to be on that. So, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Take care, y'all. Thank you for making it to this part of the video. I'm sorry it's such a long video. There was just such a lot to read. But yeah, y'all have a great and amazing day, man. See ya in the next one.